Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good evening and welcome to the 12th Dimension, where I'm joined by the amazing Jessica Jones.
Hey Andy.
Thanks for joining us again. Welcome to everyone in the chat. So should we jump straight in?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Is that okay? So I'm going to ask, as you know, as we were talking before, I was going to talk about the remote viewing that you've been doing.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find it because I've wrote a list and it's gone. 1 second, sorry about this. So, Portlock, Alaska, that was it.
Yes, Portlock, Alaska. That's a weird one. Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about it.
Yeah, because I think you started telling us about it last time, but we didn't. I think we ran out of time, so we didn't get much of it done.
Yeah, Portlock, Alaska is interesting. I believe there's a TV show or two about it that's out, and it's a real story about a town up in Alaska, a little village actually, where everybody got up and left. The village elders demanded pretty much that everybody leave because people were coming up missing and bodies were being found, and word was they were being attacked and eaten by Sasquatch.
Oh,
up there. Yeah.
Wow. So what happened when you went looking?
When I remote viewed that, well, I think they said at least 30 people had gone missing. And many of them, their bodies had washed up to shore, or their body parts. Yeah. Wow. Which is terrible.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. It was a little terrible. But yeah, I looked into it, and I think everybody ended up leaving this little village after all these people started going missing. And some people, the loggers would go out into the woods because they were all building their homes from scratch and having to cut down trees. And the loggers were getting attacked by gigantic Sasquatch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and sometimes the Sasquatch would come and kind of poke their heads out of the tree line, and people knew they were out there. They could hear the screaming and the yells and the whoops and things like that. So, I looked into it. It was absolutely Sasquatch. I was getting 12-foot tall Sasquatch. Rather large, but if you know anything about Alaska and Texas, everything's bigger. Okay. So,
Yeah.
yeah, they had a line. When I remote viewed it, the Sasquatch had a territory line.
Right.
They called it the kill zone. Okay. It's kind of like the kill zone. Anyone who crossed that line was fair game to be eaten. Okay.
Fair enough.
Yes. And so unfortunately, some people did not, they were unaware of that kill zone line, and
Right.
and they crossed it, and they were never seen or heard from again.
Right.
But yeah, there was, it was I think it was called a clan or a pod. I think it was the clan of
Yeah.
a very violent Sasquatch up there. But let me tell you why they were doing it. It was because, well, not only the territory thing where people would cross that line, but they had opened up what they call a cannery or a fishery right there on the coastline,
Right.
and that's kind of why all the people were there, was because of this cannery or this fishery. So what they were doing is this establishment was taking all the fish from the area, and so that was the natural habitat had been
Yeah.
encroached upon.
So well, the humans were taking their food. So
They were eating their food. Yeah, I'd be mad too.
what else are you gonna do?
I mean, I
Eat
gotta have my salmon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they were upset about that, and so I don't think they were like waging war on the people, but whenever they came into their territory, they were fair game to be
Yeah.
taken care of. Yeah,
So it kind of in
yeah.
the animal, as well, is it? Yeah, I suppose the animal kingdom. That's how it goes, isn't it?
Humans were not on the top of the food chain up there. Let's just put it that
No.
way.
But
Yeah,
if they're nicking all the fish, then
yeah.
what else have they got?
That's right. And it was a pretty sensitive subject when I did a
Yeah.
show on that too, because there are a lot of people who don't want to discuss the fact that Sasquatch can be violent.
Ah, right.
Now, people who have interacted with Sasquatch, especially in Alaska, uh, see a different side to Sasquatch. They can be quite violent sometimes, and so and I think that's important as researchers. I'm a Bigfoot field researcher. I
Yeah.
think it's important to look at all of that. You have to be aware of what you're dealing with out there. I believe Sasquatch are very much like people, and the fact
Yeah.
that we're all different. Some of us are
Yeah.
nice, some of us are not so nice.
Yeah.
Some humans eat other humans. So you
Well,
gotta
yeah, there is
look out for
that.
those ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I suppose you gotta have that in all. I suppose all different species, aren't you?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
most of them are nice. Most of them
Yeah.
are nice.
So,
Um,
do you know how many there were in this group, this clan?
I don't know an exact number, but there were a good bit of them. There were many.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would like to think that there's like one Sasquatch. There's Patty. That's it.
Yeah.
No, there's thousands, if
I know.
not more. Yeah,
Yeah. There's
Bigfoots, Sasquatch.
got to be, aren't there?
Yeah, there's a lot. They're all different too.
Yeah.
Just like
So,
humans, we're all
yeah.
different.
So why do you think they're so elusive?
Well, I wouldn't want to be around humans either. I don't even like being
Well,
around humans.
that's why I like working on my own. No offense to anyone, but
No offense, but yeah, well, they've been here. A lot of them have been here since the beginning of time. I mean, maybe not the actual ones that are here now, but they
yeah,
go back. They date back. As they're very ancient beings, in my opinion.
yeah,
According to my data and my research, they're very ancient, and so they are able to stay away from humans. They know how to blend into their environments. I think some of
yeah.
them actually have advanced supernatural abilities in my research.
Mm,
So yeah, they're able to stay out of our line of sight.
yeah. But
Yeah.
have you found out through doing the research that where their origin is?
What do you mean by their origin? Like their
So,
DNA and their makeup?
well, where their first what's the word?
Like when they were created?
Where they started off.
Yeah, I think they're all different. Okay, I think they're all a little bit different. I do
Yeah,
think that some of Oh gosh, I'm seeing some of these remote viewing questions about off planet. It's gonna make me sweat, y'all. Don't be asking me questions about off planet remote viewing targets, please. I'm kidding. Yes. I think they're all different. I think that the majority of the Sasquatch that are here right now are actually they were originally here. They're probably from this planet. I think that they're more like local, or what do you call it? I think that they are from this planet. Okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
They've been here longer than humans, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Right. So, do you think that they are obviously there's different types?
Yeah.
Is there a connection between all the different species
of Sasquatch?
Yeah.
There's got to be. I'm no expert on their DNA, so I don't know. I'm not positive on that. Yeah.
Right, I'm just trying.
I can tell you they all look different. You know, we have different types of Sasquatch throughout the entire world.
Yeah.
Here in the South, United States, Southern U.S., we have something that we call skunk apes.
Yeah.
It's a type of Sasquatch. The ones that we encounter as a team, my teams, they're kind of a mix between like a skunk ape, and they're a little bit smaller usually than the ones that you'd find in the Pacific Northwest, like the patty type. They're all different. They're all different. Like I said, kind of like humans.
Yeah.
There's a variety.
No, thank you. Right. I'll give you a couple of questions from the viewers. Is that okay?
Okay.
So this is from Johnny Appleseed. He wants to know, has Jessica ever remote viewed any fairy or fae encounters?
I have not. That's something that I have not looked into yet.
Ooh.
I'll put it on my list. I made a big old list last time I was here.
I know. Just keep adding.
Go ahead. Let me get my pen and my paper, and I'm going to start making, because you guys had some great ones last time. I mean, Andy, your audience, you have a great audience.
Yeah.
And yeah.
When they know how to behave, it's
on my list now. I got fairies on there.
Right. So next one then is from Nickname. What does Jessica think of Ingo Swann and what he remote viewed on Mars, Moon, or was it other? I think Ingo Swann is brilliant. I love that guy. He actually, the way that I was taught remote viewing in his methods, the Ingo Swann methods. Okay. So, that's how I know how to remote view. Okay. So I got to start off by saying that. His remote viewing of off-planet things like that is very interesting. He actually wrote a book. I can't remember the name of it. Barry Littleton, who does shows with me, asked me. Yeah. He tried to go buy that book, and it was like $500 or something. Wow. It was pretty shocking. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, the reason I was saying, oh no, these off-planet things, I actually remote viewed the Apollo 11 moon landing. And I kind of knew better. I knew better than to remote view the moon. And I got that proverbial knock at my door. So it's something I don't really talk about very much. So we're going to, okay. But I got to say, I did a blind remote viewing target I have a show on Thursday nights on my YouTube channel. Yeah. The Cryptid Huntress. I did remote view a blind target for Barry Littleton, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow night. It is off planet. It's the TRAPPIST-1 star system. Right. That's going to be an interesting one, y'all. Yes. So please tune into that. Yeah. They say that those planets, those stars are habitable. I'm going to tell you if they are or not. Can't wait. Stay tuned. Yeah. I'll tell you what's up there. Yeah. But yeah, the moon, all that kind of stuff, I will leave it to Ingo Swann. You guys go look at his research. I can't talk about mine. Right. No, fair enough. Yeah. Right. So next question is from Rick Ellen. What makes Jessica think they are ancient beings as they do not appear in the fossil record? Going back to Sasquatch. Well, we don't have any fossils of them at all, period. Modern day either. So that's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I from what I pick up in my data, they are ancient. My first question when I first started doing Bigfoot field research, I asked the guys that I had met who are now I'm part of their team. The first question I asked was, "Why have y'all never found a body?" I was like, "Where's the body? Where's the poop?" So it's still. But also, I do know from people I know going, spending time at what we call the body farm,
Right.
and knowing how animals decompose out in the wild.
Yeah.
You know, but that is a good question. That's a great question. Yeah. I don't have all the answers. I have no idea.
No,
I can tell you what I know, though.
Exactly. That's it. That's what we
Yeah.
want, though, isn't it? It's like if we all
Absolutely.
knew, then we won't be doing this now. There'd be no point of any of us doing anything.
No point. I guess. I don't know. There's always, it's fun though. Listen, I do this for fun. This is my hobby. And the more I learn, the less I know.
True story.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So next question is from Terry Brown.
Terry.
Jessica, do you think their abilities of being able to hide from us are a result of them being able to self-adjust their frequencies to become hidden from most?
Yes, that's very interesting. Hi, Terry. You know, I just had a live show, and Terry was in my chat too. Hello, Terry.
Yeah, I like you like Terry.
Yes. I think so. Yeah, I think that's part of it. Absolutely. Yeah. I was just actually talking about this on my show today, about how certain people can see things that other people can't see. Yeah. We're not all on the same frequency. Okay. And this phenomena that we experience out in the field and in our homes and wherever, this, you know, from orbs to UFOs and aliens to Bigfoot, it's all on different frequencies. Okay. And so I'm always encouraging everyone to get on as high a frequency as you can, you know, spiritually, physically. Try to live your best life and find things that make you happy so that you vibrate higher on a higher frequency, because that's when you start tapping into more of your abilities. Yeah. Psychic abilities. That's when you're able to resonate with some of that other stuff, like this phenomena that's going on out here. And I think that they absolutely, I think that there's a chance that they can adjust their frequencies to hide from us. I also think that the reason we can't see them all the time is because we personally, as humans, don't have the exact kind of rods and cones and stuff. And so some of the stuff is right out of our vision.
Yeah.
Or the spectrum of what we can see and what we can't. Yeah. I think there's so much going on around us that we don't see. Yeah. I think it would be pretty terrifying, actually, for a lot of people if we we're on those frequencies. Yeah. But I think they could do that. I think Bigfoot could change their frequency.
Yeah. No, thank you. I've got another one from from Ancient Ruby. How do you cope with things you do not really want to see?
I pulled the blanket over my head. I'm just kidding. I don't know. To the strangeness. And I'm sorry. I hope my internet connection isn't getting all wonky. Sorry about that.
It just froze a little bit.
Yes, I actually have been inoculated. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, my laptop's it's on its last leg. I have actually been inoculated to a lot of the high strangeness. I've been doing field research for a long time. I've also been attuned to the paranormal my entire life. I've been on that frequency since I was born, I'm pretty sure. And so there's nothing that I have encountered or seen that has given me nightmares or anything like that. I can't say. And I've experienced a lot of weird stuff. And so paranormal stuff, I'm able to cope. I'm able to cope with every bit of it so far. Right. It's the human stuff I don't like. Okay.
Yeah. I suppose though, if it did start getting like out of hand or anything like that, you could just stop. Would you just stop doing it, or would you like pause for a while?
Would I stop doing what I do?
Yeah. If you got anything that was like quite off-putting.
I mean, I've experienced some pretty scary stuff that most people would definitely run and never go back into the field doing stuff. I'll let you know if it ever happens. It hasn't happened yet. Oh. So I don't know. I can't say what I do. I can't see myself ever stopping unless it was like really bad. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Right. Next one. from Joe Weeks. You so need to can't speak. You so need to remote view at Megalodon if you haven't already.
I'm putting it on my list. Hey, Joe. Okay, Megalodon.
Yep.
It's on my list. Thank you. I will.
Ancient Ruby's asking, have you seen what's on Mars?
I cannot say if I have or not. No, I have. I have remote viewed my team. Actually, we've remote viewed things that came from Mars.
Oh,
and that's all I can say.
Yeah.
Yes.
That opens.
That's all I can say. A lot of the things that I remote view is a part of my team. Like I can't really talk about stuff like that. No. My entire team is trained in remote viewing, by the way, my Bigfoot research team.
Yeah.
So, we do practice targets and things like that. So we have done some practice targets that have some things to do with Mars, maybe like crash spaceships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mars is fascinating, by the way. I feel a connection to it. That's all.
No, thank you. I know you can't really talk a lot about it, but no.
Yeah, it's okay.
I do appreciate
it. I like the questions.
Cool. Right. We've got some more. So next one is from Nickname. Has Jessica ever tried to see who built megastructures or how?
Megastructures on like the moon and stuff, I guess.
I think she might mean like Stonehenge and places.
Oh, megastructures. Like okay. No, I have not looked into that yet. That would be an interesting one too. Now I have remote view giants. Not saying giants made those, but I have definitely remote viewed my share of giants. In modern day giants, actually. Yeah.
That was one of the questions, and I didn't have it wrote down. Can you talk about the one? Is it the one from Afghanistan?
Yeah, that's one of them. Yes.
Is it the can never remember the name. Kandahar. I knew it began with a K, and that was it.
Yes, close. You knew it. It's on the tip of your tongue. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remote viewed the giant of Kandahar. That was really interesting because I was picking up on a lot of inner Earth stuff, like as though they were living in inner Earth, I guess. Yeah. I think what they were guarding out there was an entrance to inner Earth, that cave that they came out of. And I say they because there was more than one.
Right.
When I remote viewed that, because the story goes that American troops were sent in. One was a special forces team. I know the second team that went in was special forces. The first team might have been as well. But there were troops that were sent in. It was kind of unclear as to why they were out there. It was like, looking for terrorists or something. I don't know. Yeah. But when I remote viewed it, I saw something different. They were sent to the mountains of Kandahar. Yeah. The locals, and here's the thing, after I remote viewed it, I did my research on it. The locals are very aware of giants out there. Everyone's aware of giants out there. Yeah. Everybody knows they're there. Those troops, there's no way they did not know giants were there, first of all, right? In my opinion. Okay. And I say that in my opinion because it backs up my data. My data was they were sent there to obtain a sample.
Right.
If you know what that means. They were sent there to obtain a sample of a giant. Okay. Yeah. Now, the interesting thing is so the first group went in to go, according to my data, they went in to go get a sample to go try to kill a giant and take the DNA or something. Yeah. And they got there and the giants were waiting for them and killed all of them. Okay. Massacred an entire group of soldiers. Okay. And so another team was sent in because they didn't hit their checkpoint. They didn't radio back. They went in, they were sent in to go find where those guys went. And they found all their equipment and like bones and body parts scattered around and stuff. And I don't even think the Army like admits to any of this. There have been soldiers that have come out and claim that they know of it. And they, you know, the pilot of the helicopter and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I've heard that before.
Okay, tell me why would the military have a helicopter waiting with a gigantic net on it to go to pick something up? Okay, because here's the thing, when the second group of soldiers went in to go look for the first group of soldiers, they were met by a giant I think it was two giants ran out of the cave. And at least one of them for sure, I know one of them did because they ended up killing it. after it had killed one or two of their soldiers.
Yeah.
But the armies, the soldiers are trained, from what I've been told now, they're trained to fire above a human's head or something like that. So it's almost like in their training, they're taught to shoot higher up because they're going to be shooting at giants. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So they ended up killing that giant. A helicopter came in and had a net attached to it to carry the giant off.
Yeah.
Okay. How did they know they were going to have a giant and put it on the helicopter? Why did they have a net ready to go? That's my question. Well, in my data, yeah, I didn't know that at all.
Someone knew something somewhere.
Somebody knew something, right? Absolutely. And they took the body.
Yeah.
And actually, after I did my show, I had people contact me through my website and my emails and things like that, claiming that their son, their brother, their whoever was involved in those actual missions, and they could confirm my data was correct.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they were actually sent there to obtain samples, and I believe it had something to do with the DNA. And I was picking up on like super soldier programs and things like that. So yeah, there was a vested interest in getting these. Some people want to say Nephilim or something. I don't know. Just giants. I was picking up they were giant humans. They were dressed in like primitive clothing, like animal skins and stuff like that, and kind of very primitive looking humans. They were just giant humans with like human DNA, but it was like bigger, like giants. Yeah. And I was also picking up they were cannibals as well. And by cannibals, I picked up they were cannibals by eating little humans. I don't think they were eating each other. I think they were eating like the smaller ones. Yeah. But they do contain some sort of human DNA in them.
Oh, right. So you've mentioned about other giants as well that you've remote viewed. Can you talk about them?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of these stories that are of people claiming of like seeing Sasquatch and things like that throughout history. I've looked into a lot of those Sasquatch stories, especially here in the United States. Back in the 1800s and before, the newspapers didn't lie to us. Okay.
Right.
The media didn't lie. They put stories in there about the wild men, that the frontiersmen, the pioneers, and people that were out building homes and settling on land that was really had been uninhabitable before and things like that. They were encountering wild men, and they didn't have a name. They didn't have the name Bigfoot back then.
Right.
But these stories were in the newspapers. And there was a story that I looked into out of Georgia, where I live in Georgia, down here in southern U.S. And there's a story about it was called the Sasquatch attack of 1829, or the Okefenokee attack of 1829.
Right.
And so I remote viewed this incident, and some people had said that it was a Bigfoot had attacked. I think they killed 5 men, from what I remember.
Right.
Some hunters that had gone out into the swamp. There were 2 hunters that had been out in the swampland. They had won some property in a land lottery, and they were actually they decided to go explore the swamp by their property, and so they packed up some picnic stuff and decided to stay out for about a week. Okay, out in this swamp, and so they went. Days in, they were in the middle of the swamp, and they came across some gigantic human footprints. Huge. Yeah. I think it was like 17 or 9. I think it was 19 inches, maybe 19-inch foot track. Yeah, it was big, very big.
So they very big.
Yeah. They immediately did an about face and went back home. But word got out to a bunch of hunters down in Florida. All right, which is right there, because the Okefenokee Swamp is kind of like in between Georgia and Florida, on the border. And these rowdy Floridians came up and decided to do like a search party kind of thing. They heard about these giant prints. They were going to go shoot something. They're trigger happy, and so they made a little search party kind of thing. They decided they're going to make a trip out of it, and they went up. The two fellas went and showed them. They tracked back to where they had found these big footprints. They got there, and there was a giant waiting for them, basically. And it ended up putting up a fight with these men. They shot at it, and basically the bullets were kind of like bouncing off of it. So the bullets weren't doing anything to it. It was a giant human.
Yeah.
They got some shots in, and the giant ended up ripping some of them limb from limb. But it was actually documented in the newspaper down there.
Right.
Yeah.
So are them documents still available, or have they gone now?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can watch. I have a show. It's the attack at Okefenokee Swamp, 1829. It's on my YouTube channel.
Right.
On my playlist, you go to remote viewing investigations on my playlist.
Yeah.
You can find it there. Yeah. And on my website.
I'll have a scroll through later.
Yeah, that was a cool show, actually. And I like doing regional things, stuff that's around where I live and in areas that I'm familiar with. That's my favorite.
It's better because it's places that as well, isn't it? So I suppose it's more fascinating for you to be somewhere like you said that pretty well.
Yes, because this is where I research with my Bigfoot teams.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy going anywhere around the South. And we have historically a lot of reports of wild men coming out of the South. And even in Florida, around that area, not too far from the Okefenokee Swamp, there's a place called Chattahoochee, Florida. And I've done some investigations there, actually. My team was called down to a residence. A couple has a home there, and they were having a lot of Bigfoot activity.
Right.
And so what they thought was Bigfoot activity, and it turned out to be Bigfoot activity.
Yeah.
But there's way more going on there than just Bigfoot, I'm sure. But I did some research down there. There's a case called it was the Ocheesee Pond Wild Man was down there back in it was either the early 1900s or mid 1800s.
Yeah.
There was a wild man, which actually was a Sasquatch. It was actually a Sasquatch that was captured down there. They said it was I think the newspaper said it was a tall man with lots of hair. He had lots of hair all over his body. He was seen swimming in a marsh or a pond. I guess it was Ocheesee Pond. So, and he was
the name of that place.
Yeah, he had been seen eating berries, and so the locals were just assumed he was a crazy man that escaped an asylum.
Right. Okay.
They called all the asylums around the area, which there were several. I think Chattahoochee had an asylum there or a big hospital. They were contacted. There were no escaped, I want to say inmates, but there were none. So they assumed maybe it was just like a man who had escaped an asylum in another state.
Yeah. He
was captured and taken to the governor, and the governor did not want anything to do with him. He wiped his hands of it completely, and they sent him to the hospital in Chattahoochee, is the story. And that is where they say he's buried there today, actually. On the grounds. Yeah. He was a Sasquatch from what I was told. Right. I haven't looked into that one, but I know a lot of people.
That's more of a cover story then.
It's an interesting story. Yes. Yeah. Another interesting one I just did last week. I remote viewed Paul Bunyan.
Oh.
Yes. If you're familiar with Paul Bunyan, he's a very famous lumberjack. It was actually the story. It was like a character of Paul Bunyan. Here in America and in Canada, he is one of the most well-known lumberjacks of our time. And the character was actually something from, I think it was like the 1800s, something like that. A logging company took stories that had been passed down through oral tradition with the lumberjacks, the people that worked in logging and lumbering. And they told the story for generations of a gigantic man who could pick up trees and, with his bare hands. And, the stories are outrageously crazy. Right. Yeah. But to them, they'd say there's a real person, there were men that worked on his team with him.
Yeah.
and stuff. And so a publisher, somebody who did advertising and stuff for the lumber company, took those stories and made a fictional character named Paul Bunyan out of him,
Right.
out of the character. And so he was kind of seen as the symbol of masculinity back then, you know, a big burly lumberjack.
Yeah.
They said that his image was used when America was fighting Germany, like during World War II. He was like the
Right.
symbol,
Okay.
the emblem of American strength, you know. And also he was on a bread advertisement. So bait bread and fighting the Germans and stuff. But he had cartoons, and we have these huge statues all over the country up north of him and his blue ox.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remote viewed him because, let me tell you why. Someone contacted me and said, one of my teammates who remote views as well, he said, Jessica, the Wisconsin Historical Society has put out a picture. There's a drawing, and it is a drawing of the man that allegedly, it's supposed to be Paul Bunyan.
Yeah.
And he said, Jessica, he doesn't necessarily look like he's human.
Right.
So what I did was I remote viewed it. This picture, you're not supposed to use the picture. I think it's copyrighted. Okay. So, but you can go to the Wisconsin Historical Society, look up Paul Bunyan, and there's a picture of him. I remote viewed it. He actually, the person that the character was based off of was not even it was not a person. He was a wild man who looked like a human, covered in hair, and he was very big. He was what we would consider to be a type 4 Sasquatch.
Right.
Yes. So that's like a Neanderthal looking human.
Yeah.
It's not really a human.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So that was a very interesting show too. So I did that last Thursday.
Yeah. I need to catch up and get watching all these.
You better. You're going. I know. I've got a lot. I've been putting out a lot of content.
Work. I've got 10 days off work at the end of the month. So
it's going to take you all 10. It'll take you 11 to catch up on my shows.
One after the other. Just before we carry on, there is a chance that my computer's going to freeze and it shuts
just
down.
like mine.
But everything will go off. So I have to turn it off and restart it. But it takes less than a minute. It's done it on the last 4 streams I've done. So I did it last night as well. So
hey, it sounds like mine. Mine does the same. I actually have my phone set up on a tripod usually, just in case my computer shuts down. So
my phone is literally in front of me just in case it doesn't come back on. So but I meant to tell you before and I forgot.
It's okay. Listen, I'm used to it. It's okay.
Good. Right. So I've got one question for you because I know you've done one on a remote view on Mothman.
Mothman. Yes.
Yeah. Can you talk about that?
Yes, Mothman. That was really interesting because I got the remote viewing data was not what I was expecting at all.
Right, okay.
It was almost like it was actually I can't remember. I don't have. Okay, I got to admit I wasn't prepared for this one because I don't remember all of my data for that one. It's been a while, but it was like a harbinger of like warning people stuff, and that's kind of what the story was. But it was sent. It was almost like it was sent from God. Okay, which freaks people out, right? Because it looks so scary, almost angelic. I know that's hard for people to comprehend because it's the Mothman and it's scary. Yeah. But they say angels don't look like what we're taught.
No.
And so this thing, it was not actually anything scary. It was actually there to help people. Okay, right. But it was a real thing. Yeah, I did pick up. I do remember the Mothman being real, and it being something that was kind of like there to warn people and to help guide people.
Right.
So, yeah, that's all I can really remember about the Mothman one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one though.
Yeah. So obviously, the story of Mothman, don't you? But the interviews that John Keel did and all that. So the thing that we're seeing at the TNT area that chased them couples in the car, that chased them back, do you think that was the same thing that was seen on the Silver Bridge? There
are multiple Mothmen.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I picked up that too. There's not just one.
Right.
There's several of them. So, and they've been spotted all over the world. As a matter of fact, I can't remember if it was because see, I've remote viewed also pterosaurs, modern day pterosaurs, and I can't remember if it was a pterosaur or a Mothman that flew in front of like by the World Trade Center right before they went down.
Yeah, I heard
Was
that
it a
story.
pterodactyl or a Mothman? Do you remember?
I heard it was a Mothman, but
I think it
then
was a Mothman too.
all the information just went off the internet within like 2-3 days.
Exactly.
So
yeah. Well, we've also got that Mandela effect working against us or for us. I don't know if it's for us or against us.
yeah, probably.
I haven't decided that one yet. I actually remote viewed a Mandela effect.
Oh, how did that go?
I did. Well, it went. It was weird, as all of my targets are. I remote viewed. I had a really big hang up on the name of my favorite restaurant. Well, my favorite fast food restaurant changing its name out of the blue.
Yeah, you remember you saying last time.
Yeah. Just so
yeah.
I looked into that one.
Yeah.
It was Mandela effect. This whole thing with CERN and shifting timelines and all that kind of stuff. That's the real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that we're just changing frequencies. I think that, some people remember the name of Chick-fil-A being CHIK filet. Others remember it CHIC filet. Others now it's CHICK filet.
Yeah, because I came over to America in be 4 years ago this year, and I was over in Connecticut and New York and like on the New England part and up in Massachusetts and that. I actually went to Chick-fil-A and I've got a photograph. I took but I don't care. I took a photo of the box because I thought that is the best chicken I've ever had.
It's so good. They cook it in peanut oil or something. It's so good.
I don't know what they do, but it's better than any other fast food restaurant.
Sweet and yum. I'm hungry right now. I haven't had lunch yet.
And when I spoke to you last time, I'm sure it was CHIC.
It was CHIK. I remember it being K. Oh,
yeah, I know it.
But yeah, it was C.
I know it wasn't CK.
A lot of people remember CHIC. But now it's CHICK. I think we can all agree it was never CHICK.
No,
not all of us. No. But see, you know what? Okay, so think of it in terms of like research.
Yeah.
Okay. Like now, me and a lot of people I know, we remember CHIK, and then like you remember CHIC. So like we were on different frequencies, and then there was CHI. It's like different camps, like different people were like on different frequencies, and now like we're all jumbled up in the CHICK frequency together.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, it's almost like, well, you weren't in my frequency before, but now we are. Now we're all here.
Yeah. But it's like with like talking about the Mandela effect. When Nelson Mandela died, I remember I was at school. I remember talking to my best mate, Carl Paul, and we were talking about it because for some reason he just kept going on about it for weeks. And it was on the news. Wow. It was on when he used to go home at lunchtime for school. It was on when I got in from school. And it was on the news for, at least 2-3 weeks. And then I think it was around 2012, 2013, watching the TV and it come up, Nelson Mandela died. I'm like, again? And I was like, I thought I was watching a TV show that was showing like stuff that had gone on in the past. And then when I clicked information, it's like, it was that day's news. But that obviously before that point, there was nothing known as Mandela effect because that's where it comes from.
It got its name from that. Yeah.
And it's like, how can that even be a thing? He died like in 1988 or 89. Yeah. And then he's dying again like 14, 15 years later.
Yeah.
And that blew my mind for ages.
Yeah. There's a lot of those. Yeah, I mean, it could drive you up a wall when you start really looking into it. It did me.
Yeah, definitely.
Did me. I was like, come on, you guys could keep CERN off. And CERN, honestly, I don't think CERN is like the only hadron collider that we have. And I'm not blaming all this on CERN,
No. Sorry, just with you saying that. Sorry to butt in. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and they was talking. They've got a collider, and I'll just have a quick look on my phone. Sorry about this.
Okay.
Because it is. I'm just trying to think where it was. So it's called Oak Ridge Dogman
Oak Ridge.
Portals. Yeah.
Apparently,
They've got a
Oak Ridge has
collider.
one. They do.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I've been told, and I've remote viewed that area because I was asked to look into some suspicious deaths of
Right.
humans in East Tennessee, and yeah, people that they were actually claim. The claim is they were killed by packs of wild dogs,
Right.
but people were very suspicious of it because there had been something like a dog man seen in the area. They thought it was maybe dog man.
Right.
And so
That's what they were saying.
yeah,
But apparently, this one in Oak Ridge, because what they were saying in the podcast, that everyone knows everyone there, and if they see a car that comes in out of town, everyone's like, "Oh, there's a car. It's probably a reporter or something like that." But apparently, they admitted that the particle accelerator in Oak Ridge, they was going to use it for opening portals.
It's called Alice. They have a program called Alice, ALICE. I was trying to look it up while you were talking. It's called Alice. It's a large hadron collider, something or another. I don't know. It's ALICE. You guys can look it up.
Yeah.
They have that there, and they work in partnership with CERN. Actually,
right.
Yeah.
Because they said like apparently whoever they are said that they was using it for opening portals and that, and then some reporters went down, and then they were like, "Oh no, it's just tongue in cheek." But then the next quote was, "There's not many scientists that know how to be comedians, so that wouldn't have been a thing."
Yeah. You know what I find interesting is they named it Alice, like down the rabbit hole, right? Like Alice in Wonderland.
That's it. But they think that when CERN was switched on, they had some knock-on effects at Alice as well, and apparently there's a few others around the area.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know. It's just what, like I said, what I was listening to yesterday.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just marking up some questions.
Oh my gosh, your audience is gonna get me in trouble here.
Just saying no comment.
No comment. I don't know. No, I don't look. There's a lot of things I don't look into at all.
Yeah.
I have a healthy dose of respect, and no.
Sorry, I was just going to say, if you're doing it for fun, you're just going to be doing the stuff that interests you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to be doing a catalog of all these different things.
No. Anything that I've remote viewed is on my YouTube channel, so you guys can go there and look at all of my. And I've done a lot of targets, so pretty much all the main paranormal weird stuff that's happened, especially here in the U.S. I've pretty much remote viewed it, so you can check it out. Now, as far as the Vatican goes, no, absolutely not.
No, not worth it, is it?
No. I'm not trying to get into that kind of stuff. Yeah. No, I mean, I did a blind target for Barry for tomorrow night, where I did remote view the planet or the star system, Trappist one. I try my best not to go off planet anymore.
Yeah.
I was actually taught that when I was being trained in remote viewing. I was pretty much told not to do that. So, and I went against my better judgment with that Apollo 11 one. And I had to, that was a bad idea. I shouldn't have done that one.
But I suppose when you're doing stuff like that, you're always learning, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Doing different techniques and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm learning that history is not what we're taught.
Yeah.
This world is not what we're taught. Yeah.
That really doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So can we talk about what we were talking about before we went on air? About what you remote viewed for me? Sure.
Yeah,
is that okay?
Absolutely.
You've already told me.
Yeah, I wanted to go over it with you first, though, because I've done this for other people in the past, and it was it was kind of shocking to them. So you're not shocked, though. I knew you wouldn't be shocked.
No, I was on that level of was it, wasn't it, sort of thing. So do you want to talk about it, or do you want me
Yeah,
to?
well, you
It's just that
can.
you've got all the details. That's all.
Whoops. Yeah, well, I don't, I just have what I went over with you. I didn't get super deep into it, but I did. But you had asked me to remote view something for you, and you gave me a location and a time, and I didn't know a whole lot about it. Okay, and usually when I remote view, I do have blind targets. Okay, I don't know what the heck I'm looking at. I just have a set of numbers or something. So I just knew the location. I knew that something had happened to you. And so I went for it.
I pretty much just give you the location, like the postcode.
Yes. And the time, the date.
Rough time of year, because I wasn't 100% what month it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And I picked up, I think you were wondering if you had been abducted.
Yes.
And I picked up immediately. Yeah, you've had some missing time going on, and you've been brought in and out with like time edits and things like that. I was picking up on you being taken. So yeah, absolutely, you have had an abduction experience, probably your whole life, actually.
That would not surprise me.
Yeah, and do you want me to tell all of it?
Yeah, that's fine. Because like I was saying to you, I have no recollection whatsoever of
None of us do.
The only bit of missing time that I could possibly have. So the first date that I sent you, which was the M27 postcode, that was when I seen that was the first UFO that I ever seen, and I was about 7 or 8. Now that was only the street down from where I was living. It's a Saturday afternoon. I was riding around on my bike. It'd been raining, and for some reason, I just stopped on the corner of the street, looked straight up, and there was a 2-tone silver grey disc directly above my head. Now, because none of my friends were out at the time, that a lot of my friends weren't allowed out when it'd been raining. I probably got on my mum's nerves that much. She's just get out. It was one of them. So I was just riding around on my bike, and then obviously I'm looking up. So I could have been there for 2 minutes. I could have been there for 2 hours. I really couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
And that's all I know, because I'm only like 7, 8, 9, so I didn't have a watch. The rule was come back when you're hungry, come back before it's dark, or if the weather gets dark, and that was it. They were the 3 rules. So
yeah, that was like my childhood too. Those were the good old days, right?
Yeah, you can't beat
good old days.
Yeah, so that is the only point that I feel that there could have been any missing time. Anything else, I've really not got a clue.
Okay. Well, you are monitored. Okay. Either you have always been monitored or you are being monitored right now.
Yeah.
By something. I did pick up on some sort of an implant as well.
Yeah.
And either you have one or you had one or you're going to have one.
Right.
And I'm not manifesting this for you. Don't worry.
No.
I hope not.
No.
But yeah, I was picking up on a bunch of cameras and things like that. Now I was seeing cameras, so I assumed that you had cameras around your house and lights. I picked up on a whole bunch of light activity. Like you've got lights, like you see flashing lights or something about lights going on around you a lot too. Yeah, the very last thing I got was like take action. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that was like a message for you or what, but it's take action. So I don't know what that is.
That to me, my first initial reaction to that was to do not as a threat, but to do something about it, to find out more of what's gone on. That's what I got from them 2 words.
Yeah, take action. That was the very last thing that I picked up. So, yeah.
Do something about it. That's, like I said before, I kind of knew, I had that feeling, but it's just, obviously, it's getting the evidence, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, lights, cameras, take action. That was the last 3 things that I got in my data. Lights, cameras, take action. Maybe it's saying that you need to monitor. Like it's you monitor them.
Could be.
Yeah. You're being monitored, but I think that you turn it around, flip it
Yeah.
on them. Why not?
Do they? Yeah.
I mean,
Are they asking me to monitor them as well?
it says take action. That's a message to you. Yeah.
That's how I read that.
Yeah. I was contacted by a good friend of mine who does research with me. He I will not, I can't give names or locations or anything like that because it's kind of it was a private ordeal kind of, but I can say that there was a family who was having issues with ETs in their home, coming into their home or kind of like, I think one of the people in the family learned how to call in UFOs. Okay. For fun. Okay. And so, and if anybody's familiar, like I know when I'm out with my team, we do a lot of field research, and we've tried that CE5 protocol and stuff. And I think she might've been doing something similar to that at her house. And she thought it was fun, and she'd invite friends over and say, look, I can call in the UFOs.
Yeah.
She had a lot of fun doing that until she noticed her kids were waking up late for school, and they were tired all the time, and their grades started getting bad. And they started seeing ETs outside their home, and they set up cameras around their house. And there were, I was sent pictures of aliens looking in their house, in their windows and stuff. I was asked if I could do anything to help.
Yeah.
There's really not much you can do. I mean, honestly, when it comes to ET, they got their own thing going on there. So there's no like,
don't you?
There's no ET spray. You can't like spray them away or like put traps out. I don't think it's not like a raccoon or a squirrel. It's there's ETs. Yeah. And there were multiple ones because they had different faces and stuff, and they were different sizes. Really,
obviously, you can't show the photo or anything like that, but can you like describe them in a bit more detail as to what they look like?
They look like your typical what a gray would look like, kind of.
Yeah.
Big eyes and like oval, round shaped kind of heads that come down to like a point, like like this.
Yeah.
They have big heads. Okay. They really do have big heads and big eyes. Some of them had like more like almond shaped eyes. The other one had more round eyes. They were both tall because the windows were up so high. Either they were levitating or they were just really tall.
Yeah, I was going to say could they be levitating?
Could be, yeah. But yeah, one of the people in the family, and kind of, I guess, invited them in a way. Yeah. So
I'm going to say, like, I suppose once you invite them in, then there's not going to be really a way of getting rid of them, is there?
It's not easy. I don't recommend calling in these things. Just like I don't recommend people using Ouija boards and stuff like that. No. I mean, I read tarot cards, and I like doing things like that. I also know how to open up the energies and then shut it down. So unless you're like really into stuff like that, I don't recommend it. Even that CE5 protocol and stuff, I would be very careful doing that at your house.
Yeah.
So like I don't turn a ghost box on in my house. I would never do that. That kind of stuff.
But I've not opened it yet.
Oh, there you go.
Peter Slattery.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
I need to read it and like look into it, but I'm a bit dubious of doing it where I live. That's the only thing. I'm like,
don't do it where you live. I wouldn't do it where you live. Yeah.
So I think I need to find somewhere where I can go and read it and then like get the concentration and see what happens from there.
Yeah.
But it's just, but after what you've just told me about the remote viewing for me, it might be that little bit easier now.
Yeah. Well, you're already in it. You're in it to win it. So I mean, how much it can't get any more, but now you're aware of it. Like, you're not crazy. Like what you were thinking is what was in my data. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to send you my data. There's a couple more things in there
All
that
right, okay.
I'm sure when you see it, you will understand it. When I don't, because see,
Right, yeah,
I'm a channel for the information, and I
yeah.
get whatever comes in through these targets, and I write it all down. I have
Yeah, I suppose it's like clairvoyance,
the
isn't it?
data.
Like clairvoyance. So when they get the messages and data and all that, the person who's channeling it, they're not going to know or understand everything that's coming through.
No,
Only the
right.
person that's on the other end to receive it,
The person who knows the
it would
target.
make sense to them.
Right.
Yeah, no, that'd be great if you could. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll scan it today and email you.
Yeah. Well, that email that I messaged you on, was it yesterday? That's my new
Uh-huh.
email address. So if you send it on that one,
Okay.
yeah,
Absolutely.
perfect. Thank
I'll
you.
send it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we good to go for a break?
Sure.
Is that all right? I just
Yes.
need to use the loo.
Okay.
Been a long
I'm good
day.
with that.
All right, perfect. Right, so we'll carry on with the questions after the break, and we'll see you guys then. So, see you in a minute.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Back. I don't know. I did then. I think I messed it up. Sorry about that.
We're here.
Yes, that was a break that I needed. So, do you want to? Is there anything you want to carry on with, or do you want to go to the questions?
That's fine with me. Sure, we can do whatever you want.
Okay.
I'm game for whatever.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh, so this is from Steve. Kind of guessing what the answer is going to be. Are you able to tell us which agency knocked on your door when you RV'd the moon landings?
No.
That's fine.
I didn't say it was an agency. I don't know. I didn't say anything.
No,
I just got a proverbial knock at my door. That's all. That's all I can say. And that, it is what it is.
Yeah. Thank you.
I got a good scolding. That's all.
Yeah. And you'll never be doing it again.
No.
Right. So, quick add-on question to that. So, when you do remote view places like that, I'm guessing...
Which I don't anymore.
No. when you did, obviously,
I'm kidding.
They are able to see what you're doing.
No, I was making it public and made it into a show.
Right,
that was the problem right there. That was the big problem.
So if you'd have done it and not said anything, no one had been none the wiser.
I can't say that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Right. This is from UFO Joe. Has Jessica ever looked into Inner Earth? Just curious.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a good question because I have not looked into Inner Earth specifically, but I have done targets that are associated with Inner Earth, which is really cool. And I can give you a couple of those. Okay.
Yeah, please.
We're going to go to, Dyatlov Pass. Okay.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one.
Okay,
let me go down the list real quick in my head. Okay. We got Dyatlov Pass. I believe the Dark Pyramid in Alaska.
Yeah.
And Giant of Kandahar. Okay. Those are three I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
That have, and Organism 46B. Okay. Yeah. That's another one. And High Brazil. Okay. If you know High Brazil, they all have connections to Inner Earth.
Right.
Okay. All of those. There's way more than I was thinking. There's probably more. But those are the ones that I can think of just off the top of my head. Now, the Dyatlov Pass was interesting. That was where they had 9 Russian hikers back in 1959 missing. And they were hiking in the snow in the Ural Mountains in Russia. And they didn't hit their checkpoint or something. And the search teams were sent out and they were found dead, all 9. Okay. Yeah. Now, something had scared them. They ran out of their tent in 15 below zero weather. And some of them, they didn't have all their clothes on and stuff. It was just really weird. I did pick up that they were kind of like attacked by something. Some people thought it was a Russian Yeti. That's why I looked into it. Yeah. There was something called the mink that the locals were scared of, allegedly. I think a lot of that, it could have been real. The mink could have been real, but I also got heavy military cover up in this one. Yeah. And government military cover up. And they had trespassed on some land. They had gotten off course.
Yeah, because didn't they go like a mile off course or something because of how bad the weather was getting? Yes.
Yeah. And so I believe like a search party or something was sent out for them. And I think it was like military based. Right. I spoke with each one of them and, I did what we call a deep mind probe.
Right. Okay.
The ones that I picked up on, I was communicating with them and the story was the same. Something came from the sky. It looked like umbrellas were falling from the sky and they were lit up. which actually I have military experts and people that have been in the military. They were saying, well, those are like these little things that they'll send down when they're looking for something and to light the area up. And so
like a flare kind of thing.
Flares, yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
whatever they had in the 1950s. Okay, and so they took off running. They were actually kind of chased out, I guess.
Right.
They most of them died from hypothermia. Okay, and there was this really strange. The strangest part of it was the last four. Okay, there was like,
Yes.
what is it? There were two, and then there were two men that were found by a tree that had been stripped.
Yeah.
The tree had been stripped, like they had tried to build a fire. There were three that tried to make it back to the original tent and died on the way back. And then there were four that were found in a ravine months later after the first two groups were found.
Weren't they like 15 foot under snow?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. And they had injuries that were much like being in a car accident.
Yeah, because it was the internal organs, wasn't it? But there's no damage on the outside.
Well, but at least two of them, their bodies were mutilated, like cattle mutilations.
Right.
The woman, her tongue had been removed, not just gone. It was removed. I actually did a deep mind probe on her, and we communicated. She told me that it was soulless beings had done that to them, and I picked up on not only evil humans but ETs. I actually picked up on a lot of ET activity there.
Yeah.
With those last four, and I did like 4 different targets for this whole thing, and that was one of my last targets that I did. Was that what happened to those 4? And it was heavy military cover up. All of my data. Actually, if anyone is ever interested in like what I do and my remote viewing stuff, I do have a Patreon. I post all of my remote viewing data there. It's the Cryptid Huntress.
Someone's actually put it up in the chat for your. I think they put the link up to your Patreon.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I have a website, thecryptidhuntress.com. All my shows are there. And I got a YouTube channel. And so y'all are welcome to go there and you can find all my stuff there.
Definitely.
Yeah. But all my data is there, and I don't, anything that I remote view, I put it all on my Patreon.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all, all of my targets are there.
Cool.
And then I've got all my shows on my YouTube channel. So, and the only thing, I put my data on Patreon because there's some things that are so out there. And when I'm remote viewing stuff and it's gory and graphic and a lot of it stuff, I can't, if I talk about it on my YouTube channel, my channel gets shut down.
Okay.
You know how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so that's why people ask. It's because it's sensitive, some of it, and there's some of them are like modern day things that happen to people, like attacks and stuff. And I don't want to be disrespectful to like the family. I don't just put it all out there.
It's still going to be about and what have you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, totally get it.
Yeah. But yeah. Okay. So that was okay. So the inner Earth connection, though, right? I hadn't gotten to that part yet.
All right.
with the Ural. Okay. So they're in the Ural Mountains. And I was, after I did this target, I was like, why was there such a heavy military presence there? Like, what's going on? Someone sent me a map of the alleged entrances to inner Earth all over the globe, like all over the Earth. And guess where one of the entrances is?
The Outlaw Pass. Right
there. The Outlaw Pass right there. Yeah. It was right there.
Wow.
So that would make sense, right? And I didn't discover that until like a month or two after I had done that target, done the show on it. And then I got that information.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it all made sense after that. So there was that one. The Dark Pyramid up in Alaska, there's a lot going on underground. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of these targets I do, I'm finding like I happen upon underground bases and stuff like that. So
right.
There's like a whole new world down there.
Yeah. I'm guessing they're scattered everywhere, all around the world, here, there, and everywhere. The bases are.
They're everywhere. Yeah, pretty much.
So are they near where the entrances are? do you know, to inner Earth?
The bases?
Yeah, are they just?
I don't know for sure. I'm not sure about that with the inner Earth stuff.
Right.
I mean, I'd say the bases are inner Earth, but I mean, it's that's a tough question, actually. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Don't be sorry. It makes my brain kind of hurt. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how to answer that one.
That's all right.
My brain.
Yeah. Too many questions.
kidding.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Right. So next one. Oh, from Rick Ellen. Does Jessica have sleep paralysis events?
Personally,
I'm
I
guessing
have.
so.
I have in the past. I've had
Yeah.
a couple. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people have, especially if you're having, if you're attuned to the paranormal and stuff.
Yeah.
But also, there's different methods you can use, different things you can do to kind of test yourself to see if you're actually having sleep paralysis, if you're dreaming or whatever, and it's like moving like a finger or something.
Yeah.
You can tell if you're actually having
I
like
used to
paralysis
be
or not.
able to do that in
Mhm.
my like mid-teens. I'd go to sleep, and then while I'm asleep, I could wake myself up, but I couldn't move. I
Yeah.
could hear him, and then gradually I'd like try and move, like you just said, move a finger or a toe, and then gradually I'd just move one part of my body, and then I'd be able to do it. And I used to be able
Yeah.
to do it over and over again, and now I've no idea how to do it anymore. It's just completely gone.
Yeah. I
So,
haven't had an event like that in a while. I mean,
yeah,
but yeah, I used to, especially when I was younger. I did.
yeah,
I think the one of the beautiful things about learning remote viewing and doing all the Monroe Gateway programs and the Silva mind control stuff, you learn to control your own mind.
yeah.
And so it makes it more, I don't know if it makes it more difficult for you to be manipulated like that or what, but I can tell you I have not had an episode like that
Right.
in years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be them.
Yes, could be. I highly recommend Monroe Gateway program, y'all. The binaural beats and stuff like that. Start training your mind.
Oh, well, I've just the last few nights I've been struggling to sleep, and I've started listening to them, and before that I'd listened to a lot of like white noise, brown noise, pink noise, and all that, and that was working for a while,
Yeah.
and then about 3 nights ago I put binaural beats on, gone straight away, slept right the way through.
Oh yeah.
First
Yeah,
time.
I have a hard time. When I
Amazing.
was first learning that program and doing the Monroe Gateway,
Yeah.
all the different stages of it, it puts you in theta and it's really easy to fall assume when
Yeah.
you're doing
I
that.
just
The trick is to
completely.
stay awake. Okay. That's the trick.
Yeah.
You got to try to stay awake. When we were learning our remote viewing, we are doing all the training and we'd spend days on end together as a team, like learning all this stuff. And there are times where we'd all lay down, and we were all having to listen to the different stages and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get into theta, and like you could just hear snoring over the whole room. And I'm guilty. I did it too. So there's a fine line between falling asleep and trying to get in theta and keep your brain awake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you're not the first one to go to sleep and start snoring.
I know, right?
It's all right.
You don't want to be the first or the last.
Yeah. I'm just following suit. Don't worry about it.
Right. Everybody else is doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something to it.
Yeah.
Being able to control your own mind is very, very, very powerful.
Yeah. And I do need to get into it. Like I said, I used to do that kind of stuff years ago, but I've just not done it for so long.
Yeah.
Just need to retrain myself. So.
Yeah. It's going to do it. But someone had asked me earlier in the chat, like, how do I keep from what would happen if I got really scared or something? I forgot what the question was, but would I quit if something got really crazy?
Yeah. If you got too much.
It's all about controlling your mind.
Yeah, I suppose if you've got control, then it won't ever get to that point.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't yet.
Hopefully it won't get to that point.
No. I put myself in some sticky situations out there, and I'm still here.
Yeah. Suppose
Yeah.
if you're jumping at the deep end, you can only go one way, can't
That's the
you?
only way in, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Go
Yeah.
head
Best
first,
way.
man.
Best way for
Cannonball.
everything.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Head first.
Yeah.
Always.
Right. Next question is from Nickname. How are remote viewers seen or sensed, does Jessica think? Could it be interpreted as ghosts?
Very interesting. Could be. I mean, it could be. I mean, they're usually undetected, but I mean, there have been times where we're training and we know people are watching us.
Right.
You can see, you can see other remote viewers sometimes. You can. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I believe I have spotted myself remote viewing myself.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Wow. That must have been
I
mad.
know that sounds so weird, but
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
just trying to get my head around it. It's
it's
so
weird.
so
It's
if
this
you
life is
was
so
yeah,
everything's
so
weird
if
in
you
my life.
was to like I suppose not bump into another remote viewer, but
Mhm.
like sense, could you communicate with them?
Yes. Yeah, you can. I mean, I think you can. Um, like I said, I'm remote viewed. I'm trained with a team of
Yeah.
a whole bunch of us, and when we're training, their targets. We're all there together, stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Ah. Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, I know it's hard to wrap your head around a little bit for, this is just my life.
Yeah. I suppose
It's
though,
my
because
life. It's weird.
you've been doing it for so long now. Is it, do you
Mhm.
say it's like 11, 12 years or something?
Mhm.
Or is it longer than that?
I've been remote viewing I started learning about 11 years ago, 11
Yeah.
or 12.
So
Yeah.
that's quite a while. And if you're doing it for
Yeah.
fun as well, I suppose
I
it's
do it all
more
the time.
enjoyable, isn't it? Yeah.
Listen, I don't think anybody else on my team likes it as much as I do.
Nothing
I
wrong
mean, I
with
don't
that.
think I mean, everybody enjoys it, and it
Yeah.
really does affect your everyday life. Being
Yeah.
able to know how to do that, and because it's not just like remote viewing, it's really just being aware of energies around you, noticing energy shifts,
Yeah.
knowing when people's energy's off, being aware of your surroundings, all that. I mean, it's all like tied in. It's just an energetic thing, and you can use it in every aspect of your life
Yeah.
for the betterment of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I do. I need to start doing something. So I think I'm going to have to look into that. I keep saying I'm going to. Been saying it for 2 years now. I'm not done
Yeah.
anything about it.
Well, I know.
I bought
Well, life
Steam
happens,
book and that was it.
Yeah, life happens, and that's like what I'm saying is like my other teammates. They don't do remote viewing as much as I do.
Right.
I mean, maybe some of them do, but I was joking around. I was like, I've gone rogue and like started a show about it and stuff,
Yeah.
because I just think it's cool putting this stuff out there. Not everybody is down with it. Um,
No, well, no. It's like anything, isn't
People
it?
think I'm crazy, I'm sure, and that's okay. Those aren't my people, you
Yeah.
know.
Exactly.
But yeah, I've been asked to speak on many, many podcasts and at conferences and shows and things like that. And I was super gung ho about it at first. Like once I went public, I was actually kind of scared to talk
Yeah.
about remote viewing. It's easier to come out as a Bigfoot field researcher than it is a remote viewer.
Right. I suppose because
So,
remote viewing isn't as it's not as it wasn't as popular as Bigfoot.
well, Bigfoot is like there's a Bigfoot sticker on every car in
Yeah.
the United States right now, just about. Okay, including mine.
Yeah.
Of course, I have an alien with mine. They're holding hands.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Bigfoot is like there's shows about it, and remote viewing is something that's actually been around for a long time.
Yeah.
They were using it during the Cold War, the military,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just something. It's like ooh, psychic spies,
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's a science, though. I mean, there's a science to it. It's not like I'm just like a psychic, person looking into stuff. And I do have psychic abilities, but we all do. Everybody has psychic
Yeah. It's
abilities.
just
We're
tuning
born with
into it,
them.
isn't it?
We're born with the psychic abilities. It's a matter of them being under attack for so many years.
Yeah.
We're chastised and made fun of for displaying them and trying to tap into our psychic abilities and looked at like we're crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And I didn't really know I was gonna get. I got some pushback from some of the shows that I went on.
Right.
Just in the comment sections and stuff, which is okay. You know, people are like, "Oh, she thinks she knows everything."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if they knew me, they'd know I don't know anything. Okay. But you know, it was that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know, I'm honestly, that's why a lot of the people that I remote view with, they don't talk about it publicly at all. Because there's such a stigma to it. But
Yeah.
for whatever reason, I've been called to talk about it. So,
Well,
so I
yeah.
do. I'll take the bullets.
Yeah.
I'll take one for the team.
Fair enough. That's
And
it.
I'm
It's
having fun doing it.
exactly. So
Yeah.
why stop now?
Yeah. I'm out there. I'm already there. People already think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Let's
Might
go.
as
Let's
well
go all the
carry on.
way. Right. Let's go full throttle.
Don't want to
Pedal to the
disappoint
metal.
them, do you?
Jump on the crazy train.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. It's not crazy. No, I have a lot of support though, Andy. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people, and especially there's a lot of people in your chat today. I recognize a lot of people in here. Thank y'all so
Yeah.
much for coming and hanging out with us today too. Or tonight, I guess it's night over where you
Night
are.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
9 o'clock.
Still daylight out here, but
Oh, we don't get enough daylight here.
yeah.
Blinking, it's gone.
Yeah, I have such a wonderful, you know, audience that tunes into my shows, and I'm very blessed. It's such a blessing because there's a lot of us, a lot of people on that same frequency.
Yeah.
And so and I'm putting the information out there for the people who are resonating with my message.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just sharing your knowledge of what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yes.
No, we really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thanks for listening.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Right. So we have got quite a few more questions.
Okay. Let's do them. Let's do it.
Quite a lot, actually.
Okay.
So this one's from Space Cadet.
Hey, Lottie. I know Lottie. She's sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can Jessica share any interesting times from investigating with Trey Hudson?
Oh my gosh. I just had Trey like surprise me. He popped up on my show this afternoon. So Trey is the head of one of my teams that I'm on.
Yeah.
He's the he's a head researcher or the head of Anomalous Studies and Observation Group, and we work on the Meadow project here in the South U.S. And yeah, I have a lot of interesting stories from out there from the Meadow. That's a place where like my car always has I have vehicle problems, and like my alarm goes off and my doors lock on their own and the lights flash and the alarm goes off every time I'm out there. It's where I've heard a disembodied voice that said time travel, like really loud. Nobody else heard it.
Yeah.
And here's the kicker on that one. It sounded like me.
Ah.
Yeah, from across the creek where I was walking with a group of people. Yeah. So weird stuff. We have missing time. We have Sasquatch activity. We have a lot of UFOs and orbs.
Yeah.
We've had the portal. We had the portal that opened up in the field. We sent two of our team members inside of it.
Yeah, I remember you saying that one.
Yeah, and then they came out and talked about it. So, yeah, Bob Grumpy, one of the guys on our team, he turned into like a fireball and shot across the field one night through a FLIR, and he didn't remember how he got across the field. Yeah, and his GPS was like he had one of those spot things, like a GPS spot that.
Oh yeah.
It just like a GPS basically, right? And it had like shown later that night that he had been like all over the place, and the only way he could get to those places was by like air. Yeah, we have that place is so weird. It's so weird. Yeah. So we're actually going back next month, I think, at some point.
Right.
But yeah, it's.
Are you doing any filming when you go?
You say filming?
Yeah. Are you going to be filming anything when you go back there, or do you just?
No, I don't film. No, we do actually record the stuff that we're doing out there. Now, Trey had mentioned on my show earlier today that there was a film crew with us last time.
Yeah.
There will be some sort of a documentary coming out on some of our research for that, and I do believe that the portal footage will be included, so that will become public at some point. Yeah.
No, thank you.
I have not been interviewed for any of that. I don't know if I'm going to be a part of all of that filming stuff, but they're planning on that. So
right. Yeah. I suppose we'll find out as they go.
Yeah.
So this Stockholm Pills and Views. When remote viewing, are you able to feel temperature changes and smells?
Yes. It's all part of the sensory data.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's part of like the training is learning the energy shifts and things like that. And yeah, olfactory stuff. I mean, that's why it's important. Like we don't light incense, no candles. Like when I'm remote viewing, I sit down in a quiet room with my paper and my pen, a bunch of paper and my pens.
Yeah.
And I like it totally quiet with the lights on and nothing to distract me. Nothing at all. No. Like I do it. I usually remote view in the morning before I make breakfast or anything. I have coffee. I have to have coffee. but that's it. Because I don't like no candles, like no smells, because you want to be able to pick up on everything.
Yeah, because you'll get false data then, won't you?
Yeah, it could cross-contaminate the data, I guess you could say. Because I mean, because you can smell like cologne or perfume sometimes. Right. I had seen, I think the question's coming up in a minute about the missing 411, probably. I saw that a while ago. I do remote view missing people. I have done that quite a bit. And yes, there it is. I knew I saw that in the chat.
Yeah. I just have to go through them.
Yes. Okay. So the Meadow and some of the places that we remote view they do have clusters of missing people around them or nearby. And I've remote viewed those areas. Yes, some of them. Now, people wise, I can't think of any specific person from the series like that David Politis wrote that I have remote viewed, but I have remote viewed many missing people. Actually, when I first started remote viewing, I was tasked with targets. I didn't know, you don't know what they are. They're just numbers.
Yeah.
And I was tasked with locating several cold cases, of like missing people, cases that were going cold. The head of my team worked with law enforcement and would get cases, and they've got websites too. Like you can go to websites and find cases that are going cold or, but a lot of times people contact us. Like, I mean, I've been contacted personally by family members who their nieces, nephews, children, parents that were murdered or their bodies were gone or they're missing or whatever. And so, I do those like case by case. Like if I can help somebody, I will, but doing so much of that when you're remote viewing, it really, really takes a lot out of you. Especially with these cases where people are like brutally murdered and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. Very difficult actually. And so that's why, I've had people like comment like, why are you not constantly finding all these missing children and stuff? I'm like, well, I have. Yeah. I don't tell people, I don't talk about everything that I remote view. It's not appropriate, first of all.
No. There's a lot, like you said before, a lot of it's going to be private and personal.
Yes.
So that the family or the person that you're doing it for.
Yes. Yeah. And it's not like I'm like doing this for a living or getting paid or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I do it when I can. But yeah, I've definitely remote viewed cold. Actually did a case with I was asked by someone who works with the Nancy Grace podcast or crime stories or something like that. I looked into something for them, and there's a case out of Georgia of a young man who had gone missing. And I guess I didn't know who he was. I didn't know a lot about it, but it was somebody who lives he lived 20 miles from me, actually, not too far, an Army vet. Yeah. And he had gone missing. Allegedly, the word was they thought his wife had something to do with it, his ex-wife.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I remote viewed like what happened. I was like, no, it was somebody that he's friends with, his teammate, somebody he works with or something. Had all this data. And people investigating it were like, no, there's no way. I was like, you need to check his friend, who his friend was that night. I was thinking his friend killed him. They got in a fight. They were drunk and high and all this stuff. It's like, check with him. And they argued with me. And I was like, nope. I was like, my data suggests it was that friend, and he ran away, or he's going to run away or something. Yeah. Turns out, guess what? The case was going cold. They thought it was the wife. They were suspicious of the wife. His best friend, the last house he was seen at, the best friend had like kind of taken off and sold his house. Or it wasn't his best friend, somebody he worked with. The new tenants at his house went to go rebuild the back porch on their house, and found some concrete underneath that porch. And the guy had killed his friend and buried him underneath the porch. And I had actually did a deep mind probe on the guy, and he said, I'm buried. He's like, I'm locked up down here and I can't get out. And his face was covered in dirt and stuff. And so like, I actually was able to, I mean, yeah, it's that kind of stuff. That remote viewing is fascinating. Yeah. By the way. Yeah. But I was like, I was right.
It's just listening to everything you're telling us is just mind blowing. It really, really is.
It blows my mind too.
Yeah.
It does.
But it's something that'll probably never get, well, it won't ever get boring, will it? It's always going to be different.
I'm trying to mainstream this right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Putting it out there. Well, I think that there's a lot changing in our world right now. And I think that, I feel it, the tide changing a little bit, is shifting, and people are more open to things like this now. And looking into, especially with the paranormal research. I mean, back when I first started doing Bigfoot field research, I wouldn't dare talk about it publicly.
No.
Now it's like, whoa, it's cool now, it's cool now to be a Bigfooter in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to everybody, but to a lot of people it is. And Bigfoot is more mainstream kind of now. And it's thanks to shows that are on television and all the sightings. People are having up close and personal sightings. And to have shows like what I do with my Bigfoot field research, it's kind of an outlet for people who have also had experiences like I have, to come and hear my stories and to talk about it.
Yeah.
Remote viewing, it's getting out there more now. And you know what? Yes, I can say, hopefully I'm on the forefront of all this and like putting it out there. And yes, I'm taking some bullets for the remote viewers, but I hope that more people will learn. I think that a world of psychically switched on humans is so important, because we're way less easy to control. Let's put it that way.
Well, yeah. Well, that's it.
Right.
Once everyone does start waking up, we're going to have better control of what's going on, I think.
Yeah. I just think that the more aware people are of their surroundings, and just having an open mind. I think that's more than anything. I think that's more important than anything, is to have an open mind.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not asking anybody to believe what I say. I honestly don't care if people believe or not. I will put my information out there, and you guys can, you gotta, if you resonate with it, then that's wonderful, but I'm not out here being like, you got to believe what I'm saying. You got to believe everything, I'm not that person.
No, that's the best way to be. Obviously.
Yeah.
Everyone who knows. It's like everyone has their own belief in what's what, and it's down to the next person whether they take that on board or not.
Right.
And I think that's why it should be like that with everything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not. But
yeah, it's okay.
It's how it is, isn't it?
Yeah. So. I'm just happy that I have some people that do resonate with my messages.
Yeah.
That's all.
You only need that one person, though, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah, because it's because I've resonated with certain people to where I'm able to talk about things that I'm talking about right now. So find your vibe's your tribe. Find your vibe attracts your tribe, right?
Down. I'll forget that.
Yeah, your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah.
And not everybody's on my vibe. It's okay.
No,
It's okay.
it's yeah. Thing is, you can't have everything, can you? So
You
just,
can't. I don't know.
it's
You
their
can't have it
loss.
all.
It's
I
their
just talk,
loss.
you can manifest whatever you want. You can have it all. You can.
Yeah.
You just got to get everybody on the same page.
I
That may
know.
not ever
And that's
happen.
the hard bit, isn't it?
Unfortunately, I don't know. Or fortunately, not everybody's meant to be on the same page. You know,
Well,
we're
no.
all on different legs of our journey, and we're all on different frequencies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
yeah.
Right. Oh. So we've done. That was the Mothman one. I think you spoke about this one before. Have you ever been tempted to work for the government or military? If you was asked.
Who do you work for, Ancient Ruby? Just kidding.
Yeah, undercover spy.
I need a job.
All right. Just put that out there.
If anybody's looking, I'm for hire. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. No, I mean, I worked in government for a long time, but it was on a state level. I was the executive director of a state agency for women. So it was like women's issues and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've worked in government before, but not doing this stuff, not at all. It was for women, but women are from Venus, right? And men are from Mars.
There you go. That's it.
All aliens. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, you know, and a lot of the people that I do like Bigfoot research with, they're law enforcement. They work like Trey Hudson. He works with the Department of Defense. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of the people that I do my research with are in some sort or have been in like a government position or even firefighters, paramedics, and stuff like that. You know, working in public service.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am not a government spy. I promise. I'm a psych. I guess you could call me a psychic spy in some ways.
Yeah.
But
Well,
no. And if I was, I wouldn't tell everybody.
I was going to say, and that's the story you're sticking with.
Right, exactly. I don't think people who actually are talk about it. So
No, definitely not.
probably not.
No. Right. This is from nickname. She wants to know, would Jessica remote view Jack the Ripper and or Roswell? If you haven't already.
Okay. Well, things like Jack the Ripper are I've been asked that before recently. I don't know, nickname. You might have asked me that. Somebody asked me this past week if I would remote view that. Now that's something that's kind of gory, and I just don't like being in that energy.
Right.
So probably not Jack the Ripper. Yeah, because no, probably not that. Now Roswell, I have not remote viewed that, but I know people who have.
Yeah.
And they say that there were more than one crash. There was like 2 or 3 at least.
Ah, right.
Yeah. So that's super interesting. Yeah. I have not looked into that because I actually know people who have.
Yeah.
So I had not. No. That would be a good one though for my show. I think I could do that one. Yeah.
No, thank you. Right, next one is from Rick Allen. What does Jessica think her great remote viewing triumph is?
I don't have any triumphs really. That's a nice question, but I don't have a triumph. I mean, I don't know what I'm remote viewing most of the time.
Yeah,
I mean, like ever actually. So yeah. I mean, I've been super on target with a lot of them, most of them. So I guess any ones that I finish to the end, I guess they're all good.
Yeah.
They're all good. I don't have anyone that like sticks out. My missing persons ones are actually my ones that I really appreciate the most, but those are not the ones that I talk about because they're for law enforcement or the people or whatever. The missing persons cases actually that I do are my triumphs, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it that, but
no, yeah.
Those are the ones that I do it for that.
They're on a personal level, aren't they? They're helping families and friends and whoever else out. So
unfortunately, like the missing persons cases, I've never found a person that was alive.
No.
Well, actually, I take that back because I was asked to remote view a friend of mine that went dark, and he was fine. So
right, okay.
he was just in the woods camping with doing some Bigfoot stuff, I think.
Right.
So that person was alive, but
Yeah.
like actual missing persons cases, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, thank you. Right. Next one from Space Cadet. Can Jessica share some of her data from the remote viewing of portals?
Portals, yeah. Yes, Lottie. Hey, I just did I did a blind target for Barry Littleton. Another one for Barry. Barry has the most amazing YouTube channel. Everybody go subscribe to Barry Littleton if you can on YouTube. And I know y'all can. Y'all go.
Yeah.
He's got some great shows. And he and I've made him my sidekick at this point. He comes on a lot of my shows with me.
Yeah.
We're both actually, he and I are both speaking at the Journey to Truth conference in Grafton, Illinois in May. So y'all come join us. He gave me a target. It turned out to be Earth's weaponized natural portals. Okay.
Right.
That was another one. We both were laughing. We're like, where's this one? If this one doesn't get us in trouble, I don't know what will. He actually did not even know if they were real.
Right.
If it was a real thing, but he had been hearing about them. And like I said, I usually get I got a set of numbers and I immediately picked up on portals in the sun. I actually was getting, I was picking up on a whole bunch of like UFOs and stuff coming out of the sun. And so, you know, where are they coming? There was Earth's weaponized portals, but I was picking up on the Earth and the sun together there. So, and weaponized. Okay. And that, and it's not just like humans weaponizing them or using them for whatever nefarious purposes or whatever. It's like ET and all that stuff. What we would consider ET. So yeah, there are portals everywhere, all over the earth. I mean, some of them are microscopic, some of them are huge. I mean, I've remote viewed another blind target he gave me ended up being like the holographic mountain, like near Mount Adams near a SETI ranch in Washington state, United States. And that was that there had like a little portal thing going on there. The holographic mountain, that was a really cool one. So y'all go check that out if you want on my YouTube channel.
Definitely.
Yeah. But portals they're all kind of different. Depends on what kind of portal it is. Like Mel's Hole, for instance, I was a portal as well. That's a wormhole.
Yeah.
If you guys know what Mel's Hole is, I looked into that.
Yeah. But so with these portals, is there a time frame that they open or can they be controlled?
Yes, some of them actually they coincide with like solar flares and solar flashes and stuff like that. Some of them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And then others, I mean, we've may or may not have had incidences out in the field where entities come and go out of portals that open, you know, just like on Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
That is very interesting.
Yes.
Right. So Ancient Ruby, what is your most favorite to remote view where you get a lot of satisfaction?
It depends. I just like remote viewing any kind of blind target where I'm on target.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. I'm like, I don't care as long as I'm on target. I get a lot of satisfaction out of that actually, because I don't ever have any kind of expectations like getting these things right. And then when I do, it's very satisfying. Yeah.
Cool.
So and the more I do, the more I mean, I've done so many at this point in my life. Like I've been on target with all of them. Now, Barry did give me a blind target this week, and I just don't think I hit the target at all on this one. It was so weird. I was like, this was I don't know what happened with that one, but we'll probably do a show on it. Yeah.
Could he be messing about with you, trying to trick you or something?
I don't think Barry would ever trick. He would never trick me. But here's another part to it. It could be that whatever this target was, there's way more to it than what meets the eye.
Right.
So, like I said, we live in a weird universe.
Yeah.
We live in a very weird world.
Yeah, just quick thing with that. Have you ever tried to remote view something, but it's been blocked, so you're not able to actually get to it?
Yeah, that happens. That happens. I've also been tasked with a target that wasn't anything real. It was like a made up story.
Oh, right.
So that was weird. That made me want to bang my head against the wall. I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, because I do I look into like paranormal events
Yeah.
and let's just say like a dog man attack or something like that.
Yeah.
Things that are quite well known in the communities, and you hear about them. And so I'm tasked with like targets of like the incident of like where somebody was killed or attacked or something. And there was one. There was no truth to it at all.
Right.
So that kind of thing happens too, but it's very rare. It's very rare. That leaves me for like a week feeling like crap. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's like
I was
the
going to say,
worst.
it must really drain you when you're
It
doing
does.
all this stuff.
It does not so much when it's like an easy target or something,
Yeah.
something light, but when it's something that's not even real, it's like it takes everything out of me. So I'm like, I don't like those.
Yeah. No.
But that's part of it though. Like that's why I do this, is to like look into stuff to get more information. And yeah, like Barry, like you said, you think he was tricking me? Well, there was that one where he did not know if weaponized portals were a real thing.
Right.
And that wasn't tricking me though. That was him wanting to know if this was real, just like what I usually do.
Right. Yeah.
So, and he was shocked. He was shocked. My data was, it was on point. And you were able to see things that nobody else is going to tell us the truth behind these things.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right.
And are you doing an episode on that one, or have you done one?
I already did one. Yeah,
you've done it.
I did it right before Christmas, I believe it's called. It's on my YouTube channel, Earth's Weaponized Portals.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
I
on
definitely
there.
know what I'm going to be doing that week. I'm off work.
Yeah. It's only an hour. Listen, all my shows are like an hour usually.
Yeah.
I try not to go over an hour. So yeah.
No.
You can do like 10 shows a day.
Yeah, that'd be
kidding.
fine. You know what? I probably will.
You can do 12. I'll give you 12. 12 shows.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll get through them. Oh, right. So we've got 5 more questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So from Grandmaster UV, do you think the UFOs work on manipulation of magnetism, gravity?
That's a lot. That's a lot of words right there. A lot
what
of big
that
words.
says. Yeah.
You don't have to read it. I can read it. You don't have to say it out loud. Yeah, I think I don't know for positive, so I don't know. I honestly have not looked into the mechanics behind UFOs, so I don't know. I personally think it's got something to do with I think there's levitation, of course. I do think that. I mean, I just learned that the scarab beetle levitates. It didn't fly. It was levitation. That's why the Egyptians were,
right, okay.
they revered the scarab beetle. It's magic, levitation. I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I was just going to say the reason I read it out because of people that are watching that are listening and not watching.
Uh-huh.
So if I don't read it out,
you had to leave. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, all you listeners out there.
Right. It's like audio aid, isn't it?
Yes, I forgot.
That's the only reason to do it. Not because I don't think you can read. Definitely not that.
I didn't think that. I just saw there's a lot of big words.
I'm not even going to try and say, so yeah, that's it.
I like electrogravitomagnetic kinetic force.
Yeah, I got the electro bit and then I give up. At least I tried.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
A little bit. Yeah. Right. So I've got 2 here from Ancient Ruby. Can Jessica remote view by just a name?
remote view what about that name? Just a person?
So if you get given the person's name, I'm guessing.
Okay. I mean, maybe. Listen, it depends. I don't just remote view like people. There has to be like a target behind it, and like
something going on.
There's something going on, like a missing person or something. Like if somebody like hit me up and was like, "Hey, can you remote view John Smith?" I'd be like, "No." Because you don't know what the purpose is of like remote viewing somebody that doesn't need to be remote viewed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like it's not it's just like your ex-husband or something. No.
That'd be like just stalking him or.
Well, no. Well, here's the thing though. But if it's like a missing person, yeah, okay. So, like people have sent me messages about like, hey, you know, there's this missing girl or something happened to so and so. It's been in the news. You know, could you remote view what happened to this person? And all I have is a name. So yes, I could, but I always I need I need a location. Okay. Like a location would be good, like the time. So that could be like a target. Like it needs to be tasked to me like as a target. Okay. And like there's more information that's needed. Usually, I mean, that I prefer more information than just a name. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can like tap into people's energy by just like their names and things like that. But as far as remote viewing goes, like the scientific method of like remote viewing, you need more information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then this is going to have to be, I've got a couple more questions, but you kind of covered them anyway. So I'm going to go to this one, and this is going to be the last one. So this is from Joe Weeks, who does the moderating.
Yeah, hey, Joe.
How long did it take Jess to learn how to remote view?
Well, I'm still learning, actually. And I'll tell you, it was years. It was years. Yeah. Now, there's different stages to it, and there's different modes of remote viewing.
Yeah.
And so it's not like I spent years learning one mode or something. You know, it's just a process. My team, we spent weekends, like 3-day weekends, pretty much like at a time together, where we all stayed in the same place and like spent the weekends together, learning together, and for years. So I'm going to say we went pretty good on it for, I don't know, 5 years or something. I don't know. It's still a process. I mean, I'm still learning. Like I'm still learning. And what I mostly do is like coordinate remote viewing and energetic remote viewing. So
I suppose you're learning different techniques all the time as well, aren't you?
Yeah. I never stop learning. But yeah, it took me a while. Now I have taught one person remote viewing, and he's a good friend of mine who does, he's a Reiki master, amongst other things. Yeah. I had him hitting targets within 1 day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So yes, but I only taught him the first 3 stages. We did like a 1-day training kind of thing.
Yeah.
We switched. We traded. He certified me in Reiki 1, and I taught him remote viewing, and he was hitting all the targets. And so, and I still, I haven't lately, but I was sending him coordinates out of the blue, and he would send me his data back, and he was on target.
Oh,
yeah. Wow. I was very proud. That was satisfying.
That's pretty
Talk
good.
About satisfying. I was satisfied.
1 day.
Yeah, 1 day. Now, but it's not like the full course. You know, it's not like all the different like kinds of training that we did. And also with my team, we're not just learning remote viewing as a team too. Like we're learning all these different modes of energetic healing and dowsing and survival training, all this other stuff. Like we all, like, it's almost like it's all like we learn all this stuff together as a team. But remote viewing period, like a lot of these other things like dowsing and divination and stuff like that, it kind of goes together with it. And even Reiki. It's all like mind, body, spirit kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, wow.
Yeah. Interesting stuff, right?
Yes, very. Thank you so much for coming back on. It's been absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you for having me.
Everyone's loved it. And
okay. Well, good.
Thank you for doing the remote viewing for me as well.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I was glad to do it. I did it this morning. I know you asked me a while back, but I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm going on
Well,
Andy's
I know
show."
how busy you are, so
I've been swamped, but I totally I made sure to make time this morning to do that for you.
thank you.
I
Do
was not
appreciate
coming
it.
empty-handed today. Okay.
No, it's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So
You're welcome. And thank you to everybody that's in the chat today. I recognize a good bit of y'all. Y'all are awesome. Thank y'all for being here and for all your love and support.
yeah, definitely. And your links have been put up in the chat. I've got them in the description as well. If
Okay,
anyone
thank
wants them
you.
from me, I can email them across to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and everybody can go to my website, thecryptidhuntress.com. And as soon as you get on there, a little box will pop up where you can send me a message and it goes straight to my email. Okay.
All right, cool.
So suggestions for remote viewing targets, whatever, y'all send it to me. And I'll try to get back to you. I am horrible at getting back to people, y'all. I'm so sorry. But I try. I do try. I have a list there too. I'm trying to get back to everybody.
No, it's been great.
Thank you, Andy.
Appreciate everything you've done. So
well, thank you.
Cheers.
I appreciate you. Okay.
Thank you. Right. So on that note, we're going to end it. Just before we do go, I'm doing a podcast tomorrow night for Michael Kopf called Paranormal Verses. It's on his YouTube channel. I've put hundreds of things out on Facebook and this stuff on YouTube for it. And then on Friday, we've got Rob Demarest on. So he's going to be coming on talking about paranormal as well. So everyone have a great 48 hours. And are you okay to stay on after we go off air for a quick chat? Is that right?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you. And so we'll see you. Well, I'll see you guys on Friday. So take care and see you.